Welcome back, guys. In this particular video, we will be dealing with advanced concepts on fluids for undergraduates. And this will be part 1 of this video, because in the next subsequent video I will deal with part 2, that is turbulence in fluid motion. That I will deal in the next video. For this particular video, it's only about translational acceleration of fluids. This video is presented to you by Mathophysics Education, where hashtag quality education for free is our motto. For receiving such exciting videos more and more, please do subscribe our channel. Now let's begin. Visualizing accelerating fluids. In this particular video, we will deal with the topic of translational acceleration of fluids, that is enclosed fluid. For example, enclosed fluid means fluids in containers, maybe in a bowl or in your water bottles, anything. You place it horizontally or you place it vertically in your glass, anything, in a pouch, whatever. There is also another type of fluid flow, which is a flow with center of turbulence, of which we will discuss in part 2 of this segment. I have told you previously. Now let me give a little hint about the other type of that is a turbulent type of fluid flow. That is, the fluids, while in motion, the particles of fluid go round and round about a particular point. So what will happen if you place a paddle wheel, that is the paddle of a cycle, suppose very light paddle wheel, in the center of that whirlpool, you can say, then at the center of the whirlpool nothing will happen. But as the particular paddle has certain length, so the outside of the paddle wheel will experience some force, because the velocity of the fluid is not the same everywhere. It is increasing or decreasing with distance from the center of turbulence. So the paddle wheel will ultimately experience a torque and it will rotate. So in this way you can think of the turbulent flow, which I will discuss in the next video. So for now, let's concentrate on the situation of our concern. Consider this particular figure, but before this I would request you to pause this video and try an experiment on yourself, and then again see this video. See this figure and try to visualize what happens when you play with a water bottle in school, making it horizontal, or you can also do it on your own, as I told you. See what happens if you suddenly accelerate your bottle on your hand. The water will rise in the opposite direction of the motion of your bottle. You any sort of a cylindrical bottle you take, or any shape, you accelerate in, suppose from left to right, you will see the water will suddenly rise from right to left. So this is why is this condition happening? How much rise is the water having at a particular instant? Considering the fluid to be ideal, means without any sort of density change and all sort of that, we will see the notion of that and analyze those situations. So I have a figure for you. A liquid enclosed in a container. I accelerate it in this particular figure from right to left. As you can see, A is the acceleration from right to left. I have shown it by the diagram. At the left hand corner, the height of the fluid is seen to be h1, and at the right hand corner, the height of the fluid is seen to be greater than h1, h2, and the distance between the two ends, where the height of the liquids are h1 and h2, is supposed to be d. Let us take it. Now suppose the surface of the fluid is making an angle theta with the actual surface when it would have been at rest. When the fluid was at rest, all the positions at the same level were at having the same pressure. You know, from fluids, motion in fluids, the static fluids have same pressure at all points of the liquid from Pascal's law. Now see, the fluid is itself accelerating, but the container in which it is placed, it is also accelerating at the same rate. So as a result, if you are sitting inside the fluid, you will not be able to understand your motion. That means with respect to the container, you will then also be at rest. But what will happen? The liquid will rise. Why it will rise, we will see now. So I hope you have understood the situation of our concern. Now let's analyze what will happen. Now, if I take an elementary ring, so I have drawn that ring for you in the most left hand side figure. See the small ring. On the left hand side of the ring, I suppose a pressure P1 is being applied, and at the right hand side of the ring, I suppose that a pressure P2 is being applied. Okay, the 1 and 2 subscript are placed correspondingly. Okay, P1 is for left hand side, H1 is for left hand side, P2 is for right hand side, H2 is for right hand side. Okay, this is for the convenience of the problem. Now, mass of water, what is the mass of water? Density into volume. As I previously told that we have to assume the density to be constant because we are considering ideal fluids. So let us consider density to be rho, and the area of cross section of the piece that we have taken, elementary piece you can say, that is A. Let us consider, and also consider the thickness of the block that we have taken, or the elementary piece that we have taken, to be delta x. Now from Newton's second law of motion, we know F net force on a particular object is equal to mass into acceleration of that object. Now what is the net force on this object? It is nothing but the difference in pressure multiplied by the area on which it is acting, right? From the definition of pressure we can write it. So what is it? P2 minus P1 whole multiplied by the area of the cross section that we have taken, which is nothing but equal to ma. But what is m? Rho into a into delta x. And a, I have assumed it previously that it is accelerating with a rate a, right? Now, what is P2 and P1? P2 and P1, now in the previous line also you can see that a and a is getting cancelled, so we don't need to worry about the cross section. So cross section doesn't play any role in this particular problem. Now pressures can also be written in terms of rho g h, because with respect to the container, you can say, okay, I am at rest, why will I take it? This is the particular point. If the liquid is at a height h from it, the pressure at the point h below it will be h rho g. Similarly, we have taken at any arbitrary point, let's say at the two sides of the disc that we have taken to be hb, means h backward, that is to the left hand side, minus h front. You can also take the other way. The minus sign will compensate which one is bigger and which one is smaller. Okay, so there is no need to take that this one should be at the right hand side, this should be at the left hand side. No, not that is not the case. You can take any of them. The minus sign will automatically make sure that you are at the right position. Okay, now h rho g, hb rho g minus hf rho g, I have taken hb minus hf common from there, and that is equal to rho delta xa. Rho again gets cancelled, so you can see that density also plays no role. Although we are assuming we have derived everything by considering that density plays a role. Yes, density plays a role. That ideal fluid we are considering, that's why density plays a role, but the value of the density plays no role in this particular problem. Okay, value of the density doesn't play any role, but the fact that density is constant plays a role. Obviously it plays a role. Okay, I hope this much is clear. Then hb minus hf, simple algebra, delta x a by g. Now h2 minus h1 is dA by g. Now I am replacing hb by h2, that is this side, right hand side, and hf by h1. I can do it because this is true for any particular point or along any particular ordinate. You can say this is true, right? Because I have taken arbitrarily hb and hf, so I replace it by h2 minus h1 so that I can apply the given parameter, that is d. I can apply then, because delta x then becomes d, the entire length of the container. So h2 minus h1 is equal to dA by g. Now from trigonometry we can see, I have drawn the diagram at the leftmost part of your screen, that h2 minus h1 is the perpendicular, d is the base, and theta is our constant angle. So what is tan theta? h2 minus h1 by d. You can see it in the figure also, I have highlighted it for you. Now what is h2 minus h1? h2 minus h1 is precisely dA by g, and there is also a d in the denominator. Now dd gets cancelled and we are left with only a and g. G is always known to us. At the horizontal level it is almost constant. Inside the horizontal level it is constant, but near the earth surface you can assume it to be constant. Theta then becomes equal to tan inverse a by g. Theta then becomes equal to tan inverse a by g. Okay, now the thing that is most beautiful about this problem is that when you accelerate a fluid, its manifests itself in that way that the height of the liquid gets rise up in the opposite direction. See, the acceleration is in the right, from right to left, but the increase in height is from left to right. This is the beauty of the problem. You can also do it by experiment, because physics must always be learned with experiment if possible. Okay. Now I will give you a homework or a brain work, what you say. Similarly, we can do for freely falling liquids or rising water buckets. You can do these two situations on your own and make a copy of that. This you should try to calculate with the same procedure. The same procedure applies there. Just you need to change the acceleration. For a freely falling body, you can understand A is equal to G, and all sorts of that thing you will manipulate and you can get it. Okay. Now I will show the solution of that particular thing in the next video, along with the turbulence. Both of them I will show at the same time. Turbulence is very interesting. Thanks for watching. Please do subscribe our channel for more such exciting videos on physical sciences and mathematics. Sharing is compulsory, you know. It's a national duty, I told you before. Contact us for any grievance or anything like that, mathsexedu@gmail.com. And hopefully my hairstyle is a bit cool right now, because many of you were complaining that my eyes were being not able to see my eyes. So I hope that is not a problem right now. So thanks for watching. Thank you very much.